Hello, guys. Welcome to Economicstaan once again. We are back with another podcast video, and this time we are doing a rap video. We are making a entire 2024 rap video so that it becomes a thing for you that to understand what we have done in the entire year and what all things we are looking forward to do in this in this year, like that is 2025. So, like we have in the when we talk about content stretch, we have got a lot of different things. We have got articles, we have got social media posts in form of slide posts, in form of reels, or even we also have explainers on our website that covers the content in a very short form. Apart from that, we also have a section called Know Your Economist. So we'll be giving you details on all these things while we move forward in the video. And apart from that, we are also blessed to be being joined by Manish, who has been a constant support for us. He has been a constant support, be it in front of the camera or be it out behind the camera, writing his articles and all those things. So it's give me immense pleasure to invite Manish once again to do this thing with us, because this year couldn't have been much more fruitful if Manish wasn't there to support us. So I would like to invite Manish to share this thing with us. Yeah, hi Manish.
Hi, Ryansh. I think Ryansh has actually put a lot of effort in this hosting this podcast. So, uh, jumping into the details. So, yes, 2024 has been a very fruitful year for us, and I think we had collaborated on multiple fronts, be it in the articles or be it in the different segments that the website has kind of laid out for us. So what we basically did was we tried to focus mostly on the central bank updates. It was very important for us to focus on the central bank updates since we feel that it is very important to understand what goes in terms of our financial decisions and also in terms of the investment plans that we as Indians would likely to look forward. So that was one of the important aspects. So in the central bank's front, we mostly focused on the RBI, our Indian Central Bank, as well as US, because that's considered as our big brother in terms of our decision-making bodies. So what we basically tried to do is we focused on the different updates, the monthly updates that the central banks have brought us. So for the Indian central banks and also on the Indian economic updates, be it the performance of the indicators, basically the manufacturing and the service indicators, sector indicators, or be it the inflation, that is the CPI, we kind of focused that on uh, greater detail, which actually trickles down in terms of our articles, which is very well detailed by our writers, as well as the explainers, which is also being well curated by many content creators as well. So that is on the India front. And on the US front, I think we covered the most important central bank updates, basically in terms of whether they were going for a cut or basically they were going to stay on hold in terms of the uh, rate decisions. So that was very important for us. Another important aspect that we would like to highlight in our 2024 articles performance was basically we introduced a segment called as the um, book reviews. I think book reviews basically helped us to understand what our world is going through right now. So we kind of curated two important books that kind of encapsulates what our world is going through right now, be it in terms of economically or be it in terms of the different decision-making aspects, basically behavioral economics based books, which kind of diverges into the details of how people are kind of uh, helping in themselves in terms of making better decisions. So I think we covered those books as well. So I think that was very important for us, and I think the readers also must have taken greater insights and must have bought those books for their personal use as well. So that was a big point plus for us. And Yeah, and also in terms of world organizations, in terms of articles, I think we covered mainly the IMF, which basically looked into different lending aspects of different countries because many countries have been going through different difficult economic conditions, and I think Kenya was one of them, highlighted by one of our content creators. That was very important for us, and I think we kind of uh, diversified our uh, audience from not only India, but also in countries in Africa, US, and parts of Europe, and also parts of Southeast Asia as well. So this basically is the overview of our article section. So overall, we kind of curated close to 24 articles, and I think that is very important for us. And another segment we would like to talk about is basically the KYE. Basically, it's called the Know Your Economics segment. That particular segment was highlighted when we had our announcement of the Nobel laureates for economics this for 2024. I think Riyansh, could you just help me with the names, please?
Sure, sure,
I
sure.
think it was uh, I think it was Simon Johnson, James Robinson, and I think it was Darren Acemoglu. Yes,
Yeah.
I hope I'm right. Yeah. So I think these
Yes,
three
Manish.
economists, yeah, thank you, Raj. So I think these three economists kind of helped in terms of diversifying their views on, and probably they kind of helped in terms of understanding the institution economics for, I mean, basically they focused on the institutional economics, which basically helped in terms of understanding how the nation's prosperity goes forward and different aspects of that basically led them to winning the economic Nobel for
No worries.
2024. Yeah. So I think this particular segment, I think, was very well covered by our team because uh, I think it was delivered on the very next day, and the segment kind of pulled off pretty well. And yes, I think that was one of the greatest highlights that we had for the year of 2024. And also in terms of the explainers, I think the explainers is one of the segments which kind of encapsulates the economic happenings in very short forms. Basically, what we see on YouTube's in terms of shorts, basically we kind of put it in the explainer section in less than 300 words. So I think we had close to 22 topics, which basically encapsulates ideas like from the Indian budget allocation, be it the Indian growth story, basically how India is faring in terms of their growth. Also, different aspects of inflation in India that also kind of was one of the important aspects that uh, Economistan wanted to highlight, and also environmental issues. I think environmental issues is basically one of the important aspects that we wanted to highlight since we had our COP24 meeting, which is very important. That basically talked about different initiatives that probably all the nations would have to uh, uh, like and like adhere to in terms of keeping their CO2 emissions or low, or in terms of other initiatives in terms of improving our Earth's overall health. I think that was very much kind focused upon. And yeah, and other important aspects was basically the recent US elections. I think all of us must have like very much closely followed it in terms of who is winning the race. And but yes, we already know the result, and probably we'll have to look forward to the decisions being made in the next 4 years. So yes, I think this kind of encapsulates what we kind of focused on for the 2024. And we'll have to look forward to 2025 because I think it's a very exciting year, and probably I think the landscape of the world economy could probably change because um, there could be probably different. economic events. Basically, we could look at the economics kind of growing up into better opportunities in terms of be it better growth prospects, basically in terms of investments, or be it in terms of better job opportunities for people. And, and yes, we'll have to look forward to that as well. So, yeah, and this is 2024 from us to you, all of you.
Yeah. So Manish, just adding on to your points, I would like to highlight a few more things. Like we closely followed the US elections, the regions where we did a lot of things on that particular front. We did made I guess we could did 2 or 3 posts. We did a few articles and we also did a few explainers. And all of that was put in just to make sure that you get to know the entire aspect of the US elections, because the US election doesn't only play a significant role in the US only, but it also plays a global role, as there are several countries that are dependent on the US economy, like on their decision making, because there are so many countries in the world that are placing their decisions just on the basis of the US policy decision making, right? So we did show to make sure that it's when we highlight the dollar in that aspect, that it is the currency that becomes a parameter to measure other currencies values. So we do have to follow up bit more on that particular front. So we don't do this thing with our content that we just follow a particular country or a particular policy or policy change, but we do make sure that the policy change that requires more attention is given that attention. And also, Manish, we also did a lot of things in terms of explainers. We brought in those countries that are not much talked about in the global economy terms.
Absolutely.
There are certain countries that are just been talked about just for one article will be there, one thing particular. It doesn't stays there. It fades away from there, right? So, but we make sure that we talked about those countries as well. There are so many small countries that are happening, that are having so much small issues or even larger issues, but people usually ignore that. But we as an organization, we believe in inclusiveness in terms of content, that we don't want on a particular type of content. We want a lot of variety, as well as we want to make sure that you are being informed of the other happenings around the world as well. And this section was developed just for that aspect, that we don't want to make highlight in the only the key areas of the world, key areas of the world economy, but also those countries which are having some economic events that are significant in some aspect, in some way possible, right? So we did made sure that we brought in countries like Romania. We might be bringing up more countries in 2025, like we brought 20 like Estonia in 2025, right? So
Okay.
we'll be bringing such small countries. We'll be have tracking the economic events in those countries. We'll be bringing a lot more things in this year. As Manish pointed out, that we have brought book reviews in the last year. Like we did 2 book reviews. We have earlier done that as well, but we are also bringing in new things this year. This year, 2025, will be diverging into different areas of you can say activities, and we'll be comparing it with economics, like how the economics works there. So there will be several industries that we will be covering up in our content. Mostly thing will be in the form of video content in the podcast. The analysis of the entire industry based relation, the correlation of economics and the industry based study will be done in the form of podcast or articles, but we'll make sure that you also have the entire content in the form of explainers as well as in the form of KYE. Because KYE is a very special segment for us, because we cover the different well-renowned economists or even the Indian economists. Not only the world economists are there, we make sure that Indian economists are always on the top, and we make sure that all the things are being done. We always keep, in terms of our working style, we always keep India first. But yeah, being an Indian organization, we don't want to exclude the other areas, but that's why we, for the same fact, we make sure that we cover the entire economics, the well-known economics of the world, so that you get to know that what are the contributions that are being done in the world, right? So that keeping that in mind, we'll be making sure that we are bringing much more content in the coming times. And also this year will be very interesting for us. We'll be bringing certain plans, certain things which will be very, uh, you know, special for us, as well as this is going to be a very tough year in terms of what's say in terms of content spread, because we have planned a lot of diversities, and we are looking forward to your support, because this year which have like the last year which have been immense support from your end, and we are wanting to have more and more support, so that we bring that variety in our content, and we have a lot more coming up for you, right? So guys, thank you so much for being with us for 2024, and we are looking forward to a much better support this year. So wishing you all a very happy new year. I know it's late, but yes, we are wishing you a very happy new year, because this year we'll be having a lot of different things, and hope this year brings a different joy for you all as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining in. Thank you,
Thank
Manish,
you.
for being there with us.